While appearing before the Legal and Parliamentary Affairs Committee, chaired by the Member of Parliament for West Budama County South, Jacob Oboth, the Electoral Commission supported a proposal in the Presidential Elections Amendment Bill that seeks to make special provisions for voting for security personnel and others involved in the management of elections. According to the Commission chairperson, Justice Simon Byabakama, Electoral Commission officers, police and armed officers should be allowed to vote early to avoid being disenfranchised.
Ugandans managing elections are also registered voters and also have a right to vote. We would like to exercise our right to vote as well, but we cannot do so on polling day because we are so busy.
Whereas the proposal has attracted sharp criticism from some legislators on its authenticity, many welcomed the idea.
You know, there are many challenges with our country and in Africa that when we begin such and make such a law that voting can be early, you might find constituencies or areas that have barracks vote early and elections are closed. And that's bad. That is very, very bad. Because where the security is voting early, who will be the presiding officer early? Who will oversee early? So I therefore strongly support my opinion, and I will support it even on floor of Parliament, that the law of this country treats us equally, whether security, whether leaders, and the weight of a vote is always the same. We should have the voting on the same day, gazetted by the Electoral Commission, not changing. Even countries that have big forces, we can say let's have online voting, which is also well monitored. But we have the technology. Now, if we don't have it, and we have not got any problem during the recent voting, since almost 50 years of independence, I believe we should continue to build the confidence of our people that let's all vote on the same day like it has been.
Because it's all over the world, you cannot disenfranchise the people that are manning the electoral process. However, how do you identify a process that you'll use in order to make it watertight, that someone who has voted does not vote for the second time? That is the issue. However, early voting is a few number of votes, 80,000 votes. It's just minimal.
As Ugandans, we are supposed to vote. It's a national vote. We must vote on the same day. We begin at 7, we end at 5 p.m. That's it, all Ugandans. If they want people to vote earlier, it should be the people in diaspora, not the Ugandans who are in Uganda. That's one means of cheating. If the army, if the police is to vote, let the Electoral Commission train them, educate them, let them go where they registered to vote. After voting, they come to do their security. After all, we are not mad people, that we need all the army, we need all the SFC, that we need all the LDU, to be around us as if they are protecting mad people who are going to vote, that they should be there from 7 to 9. That some vote in the morning, then they go, then others come, the others go back and vote. Very simple logic of the person that is manning Electoral Commission. I think he's educated enough to understand that some army, some police can come in the morning and vote. At 10, some go back, others come. At midday, some go, others come back. We don't need all of them around us. They only want to come and, torture us and stop us on the way from coming to vote. That's another means of rigging. We do understand this is a civilized country, this is a growing country. In quotes, going to the middle income, in quotes.
It is something which is good. Because sometimes the day of voting, everybody is on our toes to make sure, first of all, the security. Then at the same time, to make sure the work goes on normally.
In my opinion, I want to say I see foreplay in it. And for us to prove that there is no foreplay in it, we want them to do one thing: let them publish. Let them publish the list, the registers of security institutions. That can build some confidence in Ugandans. We can bear that and you say, let them vote early because they have to go and keep security. That can be okay. But on grounds that some bit of transparency is done, because previously voting in security in barracks where these people are voting, there's been no transparency. They've been doing lots of many things which can put us in doubt about 2021. So we really demand that Electoral Commission comes up and say we shall declare the register the usual way. The other registers are going to be declared. Yes.
Another point of contention, Ugandans, the outcomes of elections before the Ugandans cast their vote.
What we see is that the votes of the special voters are actually not counted and declared on the day of voting. They wait until the main election day, and the votes are integrated in the other votes for particular polling stations and counted all together. Why this is done is to avoid any possibilities of victimizing the categories of people that might vote early: the security personnel, domestic election observers, polling officials, the media. These are people from highly sensitive professions, and you would not want to deduce a pattern of the way they vote. And that is why in other countries where early voting, special voting has been adopted as a method of providing franchise to everybody, the votes are counted with the other votes to avoid such possibilities of victimizing the people who have participated in the early voting process. But there is also another reason. We see that in some countries, early voting also takes care of the people in the diaspora. Now, you cannot count these votes, or you cannot transport these votes in it would take time for you to transport votes from the diaspora into the country. So you have to give yourself some time if these votes are going to actually be counted together, so that they are counted with the rest of the votes. So because there is also logistical considerations, I think that is why it might not be feasible to count on the same day, as well as make an announcement of the results on the same day.
According to the coordinator of the Citizens Coalition for Electoral Democracy in Uganda, Crispy Kaheru, early voting not only reduces disenfranchisement, but also improves the credibility of the electoral process.
You can see in the 2016 general elections, we had 68% voter turnout. That essentially means that if we had added on the votes coming from the journalists like yourselves, votes that are coming from observers like us, votes coming from the security personnel that work on the election day, and other stakeholders that are directly involved in the election, the voter turnout figures could have been higher than the 68% that we saw. The whole intention of an election is to give an opportunity to each and every body that is 18 years of age, that is actually a citizen, a chance to exercise their franchise. There is no reason as to why somebody should not be allowed to vote or should be impeded from voting simply because on the election day they have to work. I think it is grossly unfair, and we should ensure that we put in place mechanisms to give everybody an opportunity to exercise their right to vote.
Kaheru says government should empower its electoral body to have public trust on transparency.
What normally happens in different countries where there is early or special voting is that people vote a few days to the actual election. And why is that so? That is because some of the categories that actually take part in the special voting are categories of people that need to be deployed, probably not where they reside, but away from where they reside. So, for instance, if it is security personnel, it is not automatic that if you reside in a place like Makindye, you will be deployed in Makindye for the election day. You could actually be deployed far away in Masaka or Iganga or Gulu. So, in order to take care of the contingencies of moving from one place to another, it is just ideal that these categories vote a few days earlier so that they are able to be deployed for their duty. But also the other thing which is most important is that the debate around early voting is not so much in the principle of these categories voting early. I think it relates more around the trust that Ugandans have in a process such as that one of early voting. There have been sentiments that have actually been expressed by Ugandans that if they vote early, that leaves room for possibility of manipulating the early votes. That, there could be stuffing of ballots on top of the votes that have been cast early. There could be a miscounting. So these are all suspicions arising out of our electoral management system. That Ugandans don't trust the electoral management system. It's not that they do not want early voting as a principle in voting. It's about what other safeguards have we put in place to ensure that when these categories of people vote early, their votes won't be manipulated. That is what Ugandans are asking, and I think that is what the makers of the laws need to address themselves to. That in the event that we adopt this system of giving an opportunity to the people who work on election days to vote early, what safeguards, what mechanisms have we put in place to ensure that, yes, logistically they will be able to vote, but also their votes will be counted well, stored well, and then integrated in the overall tally of the main election day in a manner that gives confidence to everyone.
Uganda will be the first country in East Africa to exercise early voting, the rest being South Africa, Ghana, and Zimbabwe.